You sit in front of the computer. The countdown clock on the screen is already ticking. Your palms are slightly sweaty. Your heart's doing that rapid thump you can hear in your ears. You tell yourself you've studied for weeks, but at this moment, your mind feels like it's flipping through blank pages. This isn't just any test. This is the ACCA MA Computer-Based Exam, an exam that doesn't just test what you know, it tests whether you can think under pressure, adapt instantly, and navigate a digital battlefield that can be just as tricky as the questions themselves. And here's the brutal truth. Every single year, thousands of ACCA students fail not because they didn't study enough, but because they didn't understand the rules of this game. Today, I'm going to make sure you're not one of them. Because once you know the hidden mechanics, the exact strategies, and the mistakes that sink even the smartest candidates, you'll walk into your CBE with something most students never have: calm, control, and the kind of confidence that turns fear into focus. Welcome to Education Bench, the place where ACCA students don't just prepare for exams, they prepare to excel. If you're serious about not just passing but owning your ACCA journey, this is where you'll find the insight nobody else is teaching. Understanding the computer-based ACCA MA exam, why format matters. Let's be honest. Most students approach the MA exam like it's just another accounting paper. Big mistake. The CBE format changes everything: the way you manage time, the way you process information, even the way your brain responds under pressure. Here's what you need to know. The MA exam is 2 hours long, entirely computer-based, and broken into 3 sections. Section A, 35 objective test questions, OTs, worth 2 marks each. Section B, 3 multi-task questions, MTQs, each worth 10 marks, often spreadsheet-based or narrative-driven. Sounds simple enough, right? Until you realize that you can't flip through the paper like you would on a desk. Navigation is digital. Your brain has to switch modes between question types quickly. And every click costs time. If you've never sat a CBE before, you need to practice in the exact environment you'll face. The ACCA practice platform is not optional, it's your dress rehearsal. Without it, you're going in blind. Students fail the MA CBE not because they didn't know the syllabus, but because they treated it like a paper exam. In a computer-based exam, the clock isn't just ticking, it's sprinting. Every second you spend figuring out the interface is a second you're stealing from your own answers. Mastering the interface, your silent weapon. Here's what no one told you: familiarity kills anxiety. The first 5 minutes of your exam shouldn't be spent figuring out where the calculator button is, or how to flag a question for review. When you enter the CBE platform, you'll see navigation panel, question numbers you can click directly, flag button, to mark questions you want to return to, on-screen calculator and spreadsheet tools, learn their keyboard shortcuts now. Timer, constantly counting down in the top corner. Pro tip: when practicing, force yourself to use the on-screen calculator, not your phone, not a desk calculator. The real thing behaves differently. You'll thank yourself later. The psychology of time, why 2 hours feels like 1. Here's the hard truth. 2 hours sounds long, but in the MA CBE, it feels like 70 minutes. Why? Because your brain is not just solving questions, it's adjusting to different question styles, picking answers, and battling the mental fatigue of a live timer. Your time plan should look like this. Section A, 35 OTs in approximately 60 minutes. That's less than 2 minutes per question. Section B, 3 MTQs in approximately 60 minutes. That's 20 minutes each. And here's the psychological trick: never aim to use every second, build in a 5-minute review buffer. Finishing just in time is finishing too late for safety. If you reach the final minute of your ACCA MA exam still answering questions, you've already lost. The winners finish early enough to check for the silent killers: a misclick, a forgotten flag, or an unanswered question hidden in plain sight. Section A, rapid-fire precision. Section A is a mental sprint. These objective tests are designed to trip you with small traps. Slight changes in wording, at the end of the month versus at the beginning of the month. Distractor answers that are almost right but wrong by a decimal. Here's the pro approach. Read the question fully once before looking at options. If the answer doesn't click in 20 seconds, flag it and move on. Trust your first instinct unless you're 100% sure it's wrong. And remember, guessing is free. Leaving blank is deadly. Avoiding the 5 silent mistakes that fail students. Overcalculating instead of over-understanding MA is about principles as much as numbers. Not practicing on the CBE platform, real exam day becomes your tech trial. Spending too long on one question, it's better to guess and move than drown in one. Ignoring the review screen at the end, easy marks are lost here. Not reading the exact requirement, misreading costs marks faster than miscalculating. Building exam day mental strength. The MA CBE is a mental endurance test. A tired mind makes careless mistakes. Sleep is non-negotiable. 6 hours of sleep beats 10 hours of last-minute cramming. Arrive early, not just to avoid stress, but to acclimatize. In the first 30 seconds, breathe deeply, oxygen sharpens focus. If this hit home for you, you're already one step ahead of 90% of students who will sit this exam this year. Now, don't waste that advantage, put it into action. If you're ready to go deeper, watch my next video on the ACCA MA question types you can't afford to get wrong. Because knowing them could be the reason you walk out smiling instead of shaking your head. And tell me in the comments, what's your biggest fear about the MA CBE? Let's fix it together.